Merc go crazy, bitch.
The best advice I done got from somebody, what my partner told me, man, is 3 kind of people in the world. You know, like it's people that sit back and watch everybody else do everything, ball out, have fun, not have fun and all of that, or they just sit back and just watch. You know what I mean? And talk about what everybody else doing, how and this and that. Then you got the people that want to do it, they just don't do it. You know what I mean? Then you got the people, you know what I mean, that do it.
The story is bigger than, as I said at the beginning, it's bigger than any one person.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like, when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know.
Well, it seems like Dave Chapelle is ready to tell the story. Oprah Winfrey is in the news a lot, either for doing something heartwarming or for allegedly being shadier than most celebrities. And in this video, the shady side is on full blast, so be prepared for some shockers.
There have been few times that I've been anywhere and not been sold out.
From her questionable friendships with people like Harvey Weinstein and her endorsement of fraudulent healers, Oprah certainly has an alleged record of surrounding herself with people that really enjoy inflict harm on others. And if you were paying any attention during Kanye's rants, it certainly sounds like she's hanging with the dirty group of Hollywood elites.
Feels like it might be a lot of that in order to control, traumatize. They want to monetize and traumatize.
And this time, it's Dave Chapelle pointing fingers at America's beloved TV host. Be sure to stick around because we'll be diving deep into all the details that allege Oprah being a handler for the elites. Or is it all just a conspiracy theory? Well, you have to keep watching to find out. Let's jump right in.
It was completely outside of my frame of reference. I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories. Of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through, and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Yeah. Would you say you lost your mind, sort of?
No.
No.
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't crazy, but it's incredibly stressful.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a lot of instances, I was deliberately being put through stress.
It goes without saying that Oprah Winfrey is one of the most popular and influential people in the world, and her show is seen as one of the biggest platforms, but if the rumors are right, then she's been using it to keep celebrities in check and keep the Hollywood elites happy. Oprah has a rather long list of celebrities speaking out about her behavior towards them, and one of the most popular confrontations was when Toni Braxton accused Oprah of misleading her into an interview that changed her career for worse. Toni Braxton. Less than 2 years after the release of Toni Braxton's 1996 album, Secrets, the singer found herself filing for bankruptcy. Despite being unable to go into details about the case to the press, it was decided by her team that Toni should go on Oprah Winfrey's chat show. And the goal of the interview was simple: air Toni's side of the story and give her some grace with the public. The reality? A nightmare for the singer. Instead of giving the Long As I Live singer the floor, Oprah put her on the stand like it was a courtroom, and she was both judge and jury.
I know you came from, middle-class parents, father's a preacher and all that, and I came from lower middle class. And I think when you haven't had a whole lot, then the idea of being broke isn't so bothersome, because you're used to being broke, and it's just a state of being. But when you've had, first of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware. When you had Gucci silverware and baby grand pianos, and you're used to wearing $5,000 and $6,000 and $7,000 gowns at a time, and spending $500 on a pair of shoes, it's a long drop.
Oprah made comments about Tony's lifestyle and painted the situation like overindulging in nice things was the reason that Tony was broke and facing bankruptcy. But the actual truth was not drilled into as much as Oprah talked about Tony's alleged Gucci silverware. The truth was actually a sad reality for the young singer who had wound up with huge debts after being forced to self-fund her tour with saxophonist Kenny G. Toni Braxton had thought that the royalty checks she was owed at the time would clear the debt, but it never amounted to anything, and she had to sue her label, LaFace and Arista, before filing for bankruptcy in January 1998. But people didn't care about that. Oprah had done more than enough damage by putting Toni on stage and belittling her, and Toni recognized it as the beginning of the end of her career.
I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her, and she pretty much reprimanded me.
I read that you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this.
She says to me, I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.
First of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware.
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it. What did you mean? And immediately, she made me feel this big, this big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
Speaking to The Guardian in 2018, Toni Braxton explained that she knew that the interview was a bad idea before she even got to the set. I remember I didn't want to do it, and I was advised we should. I thought it magnified it. It was a bad call. It made it an enormous situation. And fans could not believe that Oprah took a low moment for the singer and made it even worse. As one person said, Oprah is trashy and classless. She's also in bed with some of the sickest pervs in the industry. She's done a lot of people dirty, it seems. And this brings us straight to the next part of this reveal, the company that Oprah keeps, friendships and endorsements. Oprah has a long history of platforming some incredibly toxic people, leading to a lot of pain and suffering. Earlier in her career, she dedicated 2 shows to a man known as John of God, heavily implying that he may actually be able to heal sickness through faith in God. João Teixeira de Faria, better known as João de Deus or John of God, is a Brazilian medium, healer, subject of a profile by Oprah and accused of using hundreds of women. John of God became famous for his intense methods of healing. Though he doesn't have a medical license, he performs both spiritual healing, praying intensely for believers and placing hands on them to cure their afflictions, and what appear to be actual surgical procedures without anesthesia. This healer has been written about for years, since his practice started in 1978. But an episode of Oprah in 2010 devoted to him raised his profile exponentially. Speaking on TV Globo, 3 women described their encounters with Faria to host Pedro Bial on condition of anonymity. Dutch choreographer Zahira Lineki Mouse decided to be named and said that during one of her trips to see the healer to be cured of the trauma of previous sexual assault, he took her into a back room and had her masturbate him. He then had her pick out a gemstone from a set and granted special treatment. She has also accused him of raping her during another session. Since news of the healer's crimes hit, Oprah has taken down all the videos and written pieces that she made about John of God. But in one archived post, she described her visit to Brazil to meet the healer. I felt an overwhelming sense of peace. Just a week before, I'd been almost at the point of giving up. Now I smiled inside myself at the twists and turns this journey of building a network had taken. And knowing what we do know now about John and his crimes, Oprah's statement is even more sinister. But that's not the last time she was involved with someone who ended up guilty for sex-related crimes. Oprah's friendship with Harvey Weinstein has been the subject of many memes, discussions, and theories. But the one thing that everyone agrees on is that Harvey Weinstein is as shady as they come, and Oprah has never publicly condemned her good friend. Shortly after the essay allegations about Harvey Weinstein, Oprah was asked about it on CBS Mornings, and she pretty much deflected the entire time.
Let's talk about what's happening with Harvey Weinstein. I know you posted on Facebook already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining.
Let's imagine that she didn't realize how tone deaf that was in the moment. How do you say that there is a silver lining in the midst of serious allegations? But that wasn't even the end.
And so I think this is a watershed moment. And if we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost this moment.
And it's so interesting to see that she tried to completely brush over the allegations that were specific to Harvey Weinstein. But she had the time to have a sit down with the two men whose essay allegations against Michael Jackson form the basis for the documentary Leaving Neverland. Anyway, despite the blatant efforts to protect Weinstein, he was found guilty and is still serving time for his crimes. And guess what? Despite being close enough to be pictured together in public, Oprah insists to this day that she didn't know about his actions. But people struggle to believe this. And we're not just talking about fans, but also celebrities. Prayer for the dying singer. Seal publicly dragged Oprah for acting oblivious to the crimes that Harvey Weinstein was found guilty of. Back in 2018, shortly after Oprah delivered a speech at the Golden Globes, Seal slammed her, claiming she knew about the rumors surrounding Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein, but did nothing. When you have been part of the problem for decades, but suddenly they all think you are the solution, he said in a pair of Instagram captions alongside two photos of Winfrey with Weinstein. Weinstein's alleged serial sex crimes sparked the Me Too movement and a cascade of accusations of abuse, harassment, and assault against powerful men. And while the scandal was building, fans couldn't stop thinking about Oprah's possible involvement. In one viral Facebook post, one person wrote a picture of Oprah with the caption, "I think now is an excellent time to remind everyone that Oprah Winfrey for years and years pimped young Hollywood girls to Harvey Weinstein to be raped." And while this claim doesn't have enough evidence to support it, we cannot ignore the fact that Oprah seemed almost obsessive about young female celebrities' body sizes back in the days. In fact, Cindy Crawford and the Olsen twins have separately spoken about their experiences as Oprah's guests, and it's not a good time, that's for sure. Cindy Crawford, in Apple TV Plus's new docuseries, The Supermodels, Cindy Crawford called out Oprah Winfrey over their 1986 interview, in which the famous TV host asked the then 20-year-old model to show off her body on national television.
Did she always have this body? Stand up just a moment. Now this is what I call a bod.
I was like the chattel or a child, like be seen and not heard. When you look at it through today's eyes, when Oprah's like, stand up and show me your body, like show us why you're worthy of being here. In the moment, I didn't recognize it. Only when I look back at it and I was like, oh my gosh, that was so not okay, really.
The interview was pretty much Cindy's first media introduction to the nation, as she made her first ever appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show alongside her elite modeling agency rep, John Casablancas. Speaking about how it felt to be put on display like that by Oprah, Cindy described feeling like a child who was there to be seen and not heard. And she also called out Winfrey for objectifying her by making her get up to show off her body as if to say, show us why you're worthy of being here. Although she explained that she didn't realize what was happening at the time, viewers were quick to bring it to her notice as one YouTube user commented, "Cindy, if you look at your face, you knew something was wrong. Glad you are standing up for yourself." But Cindy Crawford is not the only celebrity that has been put on display by Oprah. Olsen twins. In a lesser-known controversy, Oprah Winfrey also made some weird comments about the Olsen twins and their body sizes. In 2004, the Olsen twins were under aggressive criticism because of their petite body type and size. People were commenting about their eating habits and the likelihood of an ED, despite the fact that they were 17-year-old growing girls. The buzz around their size was so much that Oprah addressed it during an interview where the twins were guests on her show.
I know there's a new rumor that's recently surfaced has really upset you, right? You know, the one about eating.
Yeah, you know, people are going to write what they want to write. We try not to read the good or the bad because it just kind of comes with the territory. You know, either you're too fat, you're too skinny, and people are just going to write what they
What size are you, by the way?
Size?
Yeah, I always like to know.
I'm really short.
You're not sure?
Girls, and you know.
That's so interesting. That is so interesting. I'm like obsessed with size, and you're like, I really don't know.
Well, if we were obsessed with our size, you know, it'd be, I don't know, a different story.
But her word choice was definitely not accepted by fans of the Olsen twins and the general public. Asking them about the public scrutiny of their size, Oprah said,
I know there's a new rumor that's recently surfaced, has really upset you, right? You know, the one about eating.
To which Ashley replied,
Yeah, you know, people are going to write what they want to write. We try not to read the good or the bad because it just kind of comes with the territory. You know, either you're too fat, you're too skinny, and people are just going to write what they...
But she doesn't get to complete her response as Oprah cuts in to ask,
What size are you, by the way?
And when the twins get flustered, Oprah goes on to sarcastically say,
No.
That's so interesting. That is so interesting. I'm like obsessed with size, and you're like, I really don't know.
While the twins handled the probing questions with professionalism, the comment section on a video from the interview shows exactly what viewers felt watching Oprah intrude on such a sensitive topic. One user writes, "That was so inappropriate of Oprah asking them what size they are. She'd never get away with that today." And that's so true because the situation and context actually got worse. Barely months after that interview, Mary-Kate checked into a rehab facility in Utah to seek help in her battle with ED. So, we've seen it happen time and again with Oprah not really caring about the guests on her show and driving her own narrative. And one of the theories about her having so much power links back to the whole concept of the Hollywood elites. For those who don't know, the whole conspiracy theory about Hollywood elites is just deep-rooted in control and power. Allegedly, there are certain people in the entertainment industry that are 1% of the 1% and neck-to-neck with politicians and world leaders, which just makes them even more powerful. And what these elites do is give someone a platform to make them successful to the public, but the person is actually their puppet to control. Now, when the person acts outside of their wishes is where the handlers come in. And according to the rumors and accusations against Oprah, she's a handler for the elites. If we put together the weird obsession with younger female celebrities, her friendships with convicted sex offenders, and all the allegations that have come up against her, it's clear that Oprah's hands may not be clean. And Dave Chapelle was one of the first people to notice this.
When a hero stumbles, well, the cowards rejoice. Nothing feels better to a coward than to watch a brave guy fall.
Dave Chapelle is one of the most controversial comedians in the history of celebrity comedians. His career has featured great success, but also a great amount of accusations. And he has probably gotten canceled more times than the Kardashians. But if there's one thing Dave will always stand on, it's his opinion. And he has a rather strong view of Hollywood's elites.
The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane.
Back in the early 2000s, when Dave's career was just starting to lift off, the comedian took a break and went to Africa. When he got back, he was on Oprah's show to talk about his decision to turn down a whopping offer from Comedy Central. But as he tried to explain his thought process, Oprah kept hammering on the drug use allegations. And that was when Dave shocked her.
The whole time, they're trying to convince me I'm insane.
He openly talked about being forced to agree to things and made to appear insane to the public because those in power wanted him to be within their control. And Oprah looked like she wanted to shut him up as fast as people, which fans also spotted. As one Reddit user said, Oprah looking like her stomach dropped when he started laying it out because she's probably participated in doing this or seeing it happen to others and not speaking up. Someone else wrote, if you watch the whole interview as well, she's f***ing annoying. She keeps asking him if he's a drug addict and was he high during this whole situation, while he diffused the tension by fangirling that he's on Oprah. And one user added, everything Dave is telling Oprah, she already knows. This is nothing new to her. And to be honest, we can see why people would think so. For a TV host, Oprah certainly seems to have quite a number of slip-ups and weird comments on her show, and especially where the subject of her subs is usually the guest. And that's also why Monique refused to be on her show when it became clear that Oprah may not be as holier-than-thou as she presented herself to be.
We got labeled as difficult because I said one word, and that was no. Now, I said no to some very powerful people. I said no to Oprah Winfrey. I said no to Tyler Perry. I said no to Lee Daniels, and I said no to Lionsgate.
Monique is one of the celebrities that has continuously called Oprah out, and she avoids the TV show host for very good reasons. As we mentioned earlier, Oprah had Michael Jackson's accusers on her show.
A big part of the confusion and shame for child victims is that the attention and the seduction from the predator, who is probably gonna be somebody you know. Right. In order for it to work, it has to be somebody you know, somebody you admire, somebody you respect, or maybe even love. And it feels good. I mean, if you're 7 years old and somebody, which I was trying to say this to my friends who had children, you're 7 years old and someone is stroking your, it feels good. Even though you don't have a name for what that is, it feels good. And you're being thrown up against the wall and you're being, and I have said for years, if the abuser is any good, you won't even know it's happened. You will be in it and you won't even know it's happened. And if the abuser is any good, he or she is going to make you feel like you're a part of it. I mean, and nothing is more being a part of it.
And while she later claimed that she did it to shed more light on SA in general, there was a very clear directive, as she didn't invite any of the Jackson family members to provide perspective. And there were even more disturbing comments from Oprah. To be honest, almost everything about that interview was deeply wrong. But Monique directly addressed the fact that Oprah was giving a platform to people that were trying to smear Michael Jackson's legacy, and indirectly contributed to more conspiracy theorists about the deceased king of pop. This was around the same time that Monique was being dragged by Lionsgate and its producers for refusing to go abroad and promote the movie Precious. And guess who one of the producers was? That's right, Oprah. Speaking about the situation on her YouTube channel, Monique and her husband, Sidney Hicks, called out Oprah.
Why did you never come out and say Monique did nothing wrong by not promoting a movie that she had no contractual obligation to promote, but you stayed silent against Lionsgate? But you'll speak up about a dead man named Michael Jackson. Why is that?
And I want to address, because people are putting in the room and making comments when she had my family on her show.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Michael Jackson Neverland interview, I'm not surprised by it, because that woman has shown me who she is.
There's a level of importance that Oprah seems to have that, again, it is not without a reason. If you look closely, when you have people saying that she's your God, sometimes and you were in the bubble and Oprah's coming, you begin to believe it.
And we cannot help but remind ourselves that we now have Taraji P. Henson on a media run for The Color Purple. Taraji has recently spoken up about being underpaid in Hollywood, and to think that she almost had to walk away from the movie because she wasn't getting her dues is not only insulting to her years of experience, but there was one person on the list of producers that should have gone to bat for her, and until recently, it didn't seem like Taraji got a lot of support from Oprah.
20 plus years in the game, and I hear the same thing, and I see what you do for another production, and when it's time for us to go to bat, you don't have any money. They play in your face. And I'm just supposed to smile and grin and bear it and just keep, like, enough is enough.
And Oprah actually seemed to be going on a parallel media run to contradict Taraji.
You would have done it for nothing.
I would have done it for nothing. That's how you know you really love something, when you really would rather.
Between Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg, I don't know who's more farthest from out of touch. She's talking about, I only made $35,000. I would have done it for free. That's how you know you really look. Girl, be for real. And the fact that you tried to downplay Taraji and Fantasia's story by making this comment right here when they're on a tour talking about how underpaid black women are is very telling in your position. She's saying she would have done it for free because she wants the people who work for her to do it for free, like Monique allegedly. Her making this comment was very dismissive. It was rude. And honestly, it was just uncalled for. Why would you not be in solidarity towards the women that makes you money? Child, what do y'all think about this? And make sure y'all follow my YouTube, Dark Skin Queen 2.0, where I post 3 or 4 videos a day, y'all. Let's get it.
Oprah is talking about how she would have done the movie for free at the same time that Taraji, Fantasia, and other women were speaking up about how black actresses are underpaid in the industry. To make things even more shocking, shortly after her initial interviews went viral, Taraji made an appreciation post on Instagram. The accompanying picture of her and Oprah was from the rather awkward shoot, but the caption is what really caught fans' attention. Taraji wrote, "It is so important for black women and all women of color to support each other. It is also imperative to have women of color in decision-making positions across all industries. Thank you for responding to my message with the compassion, understanding, and support that I've received. With that being said, Ms. Oprah has been nothing less than a steady and solid beacon of light to all of the cast of The Color Purple. She has provided encouragement, guidance, and unwavering support to us all. She told me personally to reach out to her for anything I needed, and I did. It took one call, one conversation, and one decision-making black woman to make me feel heard. Thank you, Ms. Oprah, for all that you do." And it definitely feels like something she was compelled to post. And fans agree with this. As one person said, "Lol, y'all let that little forced Instagram post think it was all sweet. It never was sweet, and Taraji knows it." So maybe Oprah is not gatekeeping or handling for the elites, but there is one thing that's sure, and that's Oprah doesn't always end up on the right side of the story. So there is enough reason to be cautious about her motives for doing anything, to be honest. But what do you think? Could Oprah truly be grooming and platforming younger celebrities for the bidding of Hollywood's elites? Or does she just somehow end up in the wrong company? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section, and be sure to check out this next exciting video about your favorite celebs drama.